You know, there have been a lot of games released to absolutely terrible launches that eventually pulled through, becoming long-living titles. One big example coming to mind being No Man's Sky. Everyone knows the state No Man's Sky was released in, and it was bad, and now it's one of the most popular games ever. Everyone loves No Man's Sky. It's like the good Starfield. But today's game is one of those games where I never expected it to still be kicking this far along. That's right though, I talked about Fallout 76 a while back, but I was thinking that it's about time that 76 got a proper video. But yes, Fallout 76 is still kicking, from expansions to fixes. There are just so many changes, making it so different than what we got at launch, and it was all in the best ways possible in my opinion. So, you know, with all that said and done, I decided to check out how things are going with Fallout 76 along with the newest expansion, Atlantic City. So, you know, let's just get into it, starting with how the game is looking nowadays. And really quick before getting into 76, I just want to address a couple of things from Tuesday's Starfield video, because if you've seen it, if you're here from that video, you might have seen all of the comments and a lot of people saying a lot of stuff about how that video is like pretty much useless to have posted. But I just want to say, I did not know that update was coming. I posted that video and had it scheduled and I just wasn't paying attention, and maybe 2 hours after that video went up, there was an announcement about a new update to Starfield. So yes, I know that whole video was kind of explaining how if Starfield doesn't do something soon, or if Bethesda doesn't do something with Starfield, then it will die off, but they did something right as I posted that video, so there's a lot of people saying that's just kind of clickbait, and I just wanted to address that because I feel kind of dumb posting that video, but I'm not going to take it down. I still stand strong with those thoughts. If this update doesn't end up meeting our standards or our expectations, then as I said, I still stand by everything in that video. So I just wanted to address that to everyone in the comments saying that there was an announcement of a new update, and to everyone in the comments who obviously did not watch that video. I don't say that I hate Starfield in that video. I said that it's dying because the player base. I loved Starfield. I really enjoyed playing it, but it's boring now, and people think it's boring, modders think it's boring, and statistically speaking, it is in fact dying off. So if this update does not help things, I don't know, and I just think it's kind of crazy and a little stupid that there was an announcement of an update right after posting that video, because now that video is kind of useless. But there will be a new video when that update comes out where I will talk about whether or not I think it is good or bad, or Starfield is in the same spot. But I mean, look at all the Fallout games, look at all their numbers, and then look at Starfield. It's not looking good for under a year, but this interjection has gone long enough. I just wanted to address a couple of those things. So today's video is about Fallout 76, and I think we should just get right into Fallout 76 and how it's kicking more than Starfield, somehow. So right off the bat, hopping into the Appalachia, it is still looking and feeling practically the same, at least gameplay and graphics wise.
They're the same picture.
Content-wise, man, do I got a lot to say there, and I gotta give 76 props for how consistent it has been with the new updates and new content. And since the awful launch, Bethesda has made it their goal to fix Fallout 76 eventually, and you know, this game has lasted almost 5 years, and I am honestly just surprised. But on the topic of content, some of the things added since my last video are a new type of battle pass, now being more akin to games like Fortnite or Helldivers. Instead of the game board, it's more of a battle pass. Next are some changes to the different locations and points of interest. For example, the White Springs becoming the Responders Refuge, or the Rose Room Bar opening up to give you some new quests and stuff in Atlantic City. And I think these changes and additions to location are totally welcome, making the map feel more dynamic, and it keeps the game away from getting stale and boring. And then speaking of locations, Fallout 76 has also seen 2 expansions adding in brand new locations to explore, but I'll get back to those in a minute. Lastly, we got the usual armor, clothing, plans, and such that come with events, expansions, etc. There is just a bunch of stuff that has been added, and there's stuff that continues to be added. But if I had one complaint about some of that added content though, is the lack of new weapons. I may not have found every weapon in the game, probably not, but I'm kind of tired of using the same ones, 75% of which are traveling over from Fallout 4 as well, so feels like I've just been using the same guns in the same game for the past while, but I don't know, I might be rambling on a little bit about that. What I'm saying is, things in the sense of graphics and gameplay are pretty much the same old, but on the side of content, I think that is the reason 76 is still kicking. Which brings me to the next topic, circling back to something I mentioned before, and those are the expeditions added in. That's right, take a vacation from the mountain men and travel to 2 new locations now. We have the Pitt and Atlantic City. Atlantic City actually being another one of the reasons I'm making this video because it was released only a little bit ago. But expansions lead you into these new areas in order to complete a certain objective, like mini storylines or missions. And you do this to unlock special goods on completion, with these expeditions also being repeatable, kind of like a get in, get out situation, get the loot, get the reward. Though with Atlantic City, you don't have to do the expeditions, you can actually just go to the area, travel around, loot, do some quests, there are some quests to do there. But in the Pit, you can only do expeditions, to my knowledge. I could be wrong about that, but I could only do expeditions. But on the topic of the Pit, let's get into that expedition expansion first. So this was the first of the expedition expansions to be released. I keep feeling like I'm repeating myself, but it was released back in September of 2022, I'm pretty sure. And it was hit with a little bit of backlash right off the bat. So the Pit is actually somewhere we have seen before back in Fallout 3. And well, with the announcements and the hype leading up to the release of the Pit in 76, a lot of people got excited and were expecting a more story-like expansion. You know, getting to travel to a new map, explorable at your own leisure, with a story to experience. Instead though, there are 2 districts you can travel to, and you can only do the expeditions. You know, getting in and getting out.
What is this? What's happening?
Which some players didn't really enjoy that much. They wanted to go back to the Pit, experience the stuff they got to experience in Fallout 3, and it didn't feel the same. And I know it's a new game, but people wanted something familiar, and this wasn't very familiar other than location. But to those who don't know what the Pit is, well, even though it sounds like the name of a fight club, it's actually just Pittsburgh. So you're traveling out, you're going to Pittsburgh, and, you know, that being said, there is a lot of fighting there. But be ready to travel to a rather familiar location overrun with deadly radiation and bloodthirsty fanatics. And then we have the other expedition expansion, and that is Atlantic City, and also, as I said before, this is the most recent expansion released. Now, Atlantic City is not a location we have seen yet, to my knowledge, maybe in the prior Fallout games like 1 and 2, but I think it's pretty cool to have a new location in the Bethesda games. On the city side of things and architecture, you know, things here are a little more futuristic, and the city seems more of a bigger metro sort of city, kind of like Los Angeles in the new Fallout show, which isn't terrible, by the way. You should check out my video on that. But away from that, we are getting sent back to New Vegas vibes, actually, with gambling, mobsters, nightclubs, and the sorts. We then even see a new type of enemy called the Overgrown, and there are a couple of different variants, which most are like a mix of super mutants and the Swamp Thing, but along with these new green foes, there's also a thick layer of green fog that invades most areas, and then with Atlantic City, there are 3 districts this time around, and a little mobster-filled story to uncover. It's pretty good, actually. I thought the new story in the Atlantic City DLC definitely made up for the lack of story in the Pit, and I feel like a lot of people feel the same way. But on top of that, I think people also like this because you can just travel to the districts without doing expeditions. That's how you do the quests and stuff, and you can just walk around, explore, check things out. You can go to casinos and gamble and get drinks with your friends, act like it's the real world, go role-playing or something. But those are the 2 expedition expansions, 2 pretty big content updates, to be honest, and just great additions to Fallout 76, even if some aspects of the Pit didn't quite live up to expectations. But when you think about it, this is way better. Even these expansions are way better than what we got at launch, so these are very welcome in my opinion. And now I want to move on to some of the more negative side of things and newly added issues or issues that just came along with time. So the first thing I'll start with is something that I touched on before, and that is actually the expeditions. I'm with the players who were kind of disappointed with the Pitt expansion at least. I actually really enjoyed Atlantic City, I just don't really like the expeditions, you know? They're fun, the Pitt was great environments, but overall, that DLC or that expansion was kind of lackluster, and fans definitely thought it could have been better. To me, it felt kind of like the Division 2 expeditions, where it's just a quick mission to at least give you something, but then again, content is content, and I'm happy with content. And at least Atlantic City was able to pull things through with the expeditions, and I actually, as I said, really do enjoy that expansion.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, me too.
And I can't wait to see where we're going next, honestly. Moving on though, the next topic of dislike or negativity I'd bring up is definitely not new and is something I even talked about in my previous video, but that is Fallout First. The reason I bring that up now, even though it's been around for a while, is because 76 was not released with the subscription at launch, and it was an update added later. At the same time, Fallout First is still around, getting content, and is still annoying some people, including me, but I'll just leave that topic there. Then another thing that I just found a little frustrating is that with 76, to Bethesda's credit I guess, gets constant updates, constant expansions, constant events, daily quests, story. So much story, in fact, that it all starts to blend together, becoming a very boring slog to get through most of the time. And, you know, this is one of those games where you do all the story just to keep playing. You skip, because it's all kind of boring. But 76 is a live service MMO type game, and with so much story, I guess it is expected that now and again to sometimes skip through plot to get back to the gameplay and action. But then to my last dislike I do have, and another thing I did slightly touch on before, but it is that I think that there's a total lack of new guns and weapons. I mean, there was an opportunity to at least add one new gun model in each expansion, instead of, over the last 4 years, we've had maybe seen 2 new variants of weapons. Why not add in a service rifle or something, or, you know, something we've seen in Fallout 3, we went to the Pit, why not add some Fallout 3 weapons that are remodeled and stuff? But I don't know, then again, that is just a little nitpick of mine. It's just a little thing I found annoying, but I can get through the game with the weapons we have. And really, that's all I have on the negative side of things. There's not that much. Fallout 76 has really turned things around. Bethesda's kept the game alive and kicking. I remember getting the game 3 days after launch, and I brought it back the same day because I physically could not play it. And now, I'm still playing the game today, so that's good for you, Bethesda. So I'll just leave the dislikes there because, in all honesty, all in all, I enjoy the game. And with that, I'm going to move on to the last topic of today, and that is the recent boom in players. Now, I don't have this scripted out, I just wanted to add this in because this is insane. I've been seeing on Reddit, I've been checking the SteamDB, I've been checking the Steam charts, and Fallout 76 has exploded. That is right. We are seeing, the other day I think it hit 60,000 players or something, and still rising. That is insane. Usually it's sitting around, you know, 6,000 to 10,000. Now it's hitting around 60,000. That is insane to me. People are loving the game, and it is all because of the show. That is right. People are loving the show. You can go check out my video on the show. I know some of you didn't like it because of the actors or this and that, but I think all in all the story was really great. It got me back into Fallout 76. It got my fiance back into 76. And it seemed to have gotten thousands, tens of thousands of other players back into Fallout 76 and even Fallout 4. So that's just awesome to see. I think that's insane. I have been seeing so many other players in the worlds that I'm joining, and you never see that many people playing. You never see that many people doing the events anymore, and it's awesome to see, and I bet Bethesda is just super excited about that. But that's just the short little thing I wanted to add in before getting to my final thoughts of 76 and this video. So, in my opinion, people, including myself, are still playing Fallout 76 for 2 big reasons. Yeah, sure, there's probably other reasons, but I think 2 big reasons for the majority of people. The first being that Bethesda has been mostly fixing up the game from its start. You know, changing up what needed to be changed, fixing what needed to be fixed. Like, if you compare the state of the game now to how it was at release, it is a world of positive difference. As I said, I got the game 3 days after launch, and I brought it back the same day because I spent 4 hours trying to get into a server, and when I did, I was only able to play for 45 minutes before it kicked me, and I had to go through the same process. It was like it was literally like the day before, but they pulled through. I love the game now. A lot of people love the game now, so that's why I wanted to make another video too, seeing all these people playing the game, seeing the Fallout show. It has brought my love back for Fallout 76. It might not be the perfect Fallout game. They could have definitely done things better, but they're doing the best they can. And that leads me to the second reason I think people are still playing this game, and that's because Bethesda is somewhat listening to the fans and players. Players wanted NPCs. We got them. Fans wanted a throwback. We got the Pitt. I mean, at least Bethesda isn't like most other companies, acting like the fans don't even exist. Though I do say mostly and somewhat, as there were those negatives and caveats. And the last thing I'll say is, check out my video on the Fallout show. That show was done really well and definitely makes you want to play 76 or at least Fallout 4, New Vegas, whatever. But this is all taking its sweet time. I think this video is droned on long enough, so I'm just gonna wrap things up there. And now I want to hear all of your thoughts on Fallout 76, and if it's better in your eyes, if it's worse, if you still won't touch it after the launch, I don't care. I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments now. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, hit that like and be sure to subscribe now to stay up to date on everything to come. If you want to support more videos like this and get your name at the end of those videos and get some videos, 6 hours early maybe, I don't know, check out a membership to the channel now by pressing that little join button below. And lastly, if you heard any music that you enjoyed and you want to hear more of my own home-cooked jams, head over to BillyTheWhip on any music platform now. And with us here, I thank you all for the amazing and wild support. I love you all. It's not weird. And I hope you all have a fantastic day.
The flames growing, flow water is flowing, no paddle still rowing, can't reap without sowing, ain't no cut without mowing, ain't loaning no tricks, holding my hand until I'm closing, but I'm rolling down this hill like the rocks I've been throwing, zoning out my zone, but I'm never slowing, bars overflowing, so cold like it's snow.